All right, Shalom. Shalom. We're the brothers from the Bay Area camp, coming to the spirit to speak about this article, that goes into prophecy of World War III. But first and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh,
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 Bahashem,
Bahasham,
Bahashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahushai,
Bahashem,
Bahasham,
Bahashem,
Rachakodash,
Rachakodash,
Rachakodash.
and double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and citations to the Akim pertaining to these videos. All right, so we're just going to get into this article, because we've been keeping up on the news. We're watching for all these prophecies, and one of the main prophecies that we're looking for, besides the MOB, is World War III. It's just three acronyms: MOB and WW3.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is a little article off Newsweek, and it was posted 3 days ago, and it says China state media says country must prepare for nuclear war with U.S. after Biden asked for CV-19 probe. It says Hu Xian, the editor of the Chinese state-run newspaper The Global Times, considers enhancing China's nuclear program as being vital to the country's strategic deterrence against the U.S. It says protests in Hong Kong, Taiwan, the CV-19 pandemic, and accusations China's engaged in a genocide against the Uyghur Muslims are showing deeper divisions in an already strained relationship with China and the U.S. With Beijing one of America's top concerns, President Joe Biden has sought to strike a stern tone, while China sees much of America's actions and comments to be an encroachment on its sovereignty. It says the increasingly confrontational rhetoric and military maneuvers coming out of the two countries have raised concerns about a potential war. We must be prepared for an intense showdown between China and U.S., who wrote in a Thursday's op-ed for the Global Times. The number of China's nuclear warheads must reach the quantity that makes U.S. elites shiver should they entertain the idea of engaging in a military confrontation with China. It says Hu advocated for rapidly increasing the number of commissioned nuclear warheads, DF-41s, an intercontinental ballistic missile, and strategic missiles that have long-range capabilities. The editor posted the same comments on Weibo, a Chinese social media platform. It says China and the U.S. have been sparring over a range of issues, including the CV-19 pandemic. Hu's op-ed came one day after Biden announced he instructed the intelligence community to double down on their efforts to identify the CV-19 origins, including coming up with a list of questions that China has to answer. It says the intelligence community hasn't ruled out the possibility that CV-19 originated in a laboratory, a notion that China vehemently dismissed as being politically motivated and anti-science. Officials have also attempted to shift blame to the U.S. Fort Detrick, citing no evidence, and accused Biden of stoking confrontation and sowing division with the intelligence investigation. Before Biden drew China's ear for his push for investigation into the origin of the CV, tensions mounted over an American warship sailing through the Taiwan Strait. The American military maintained that the ship's transit was in line with an international order and demonstrated the U.S. committed to a free and open Indo-Pacific China, however, saw it as a threat to its control over Taiwan and accused the U.S. of endangering peace and stability in the region. That's pretty much it on that.
If I could say one thing first, this whole Crown Vic thing, it's been funky, from the start, the very start. So now we're seeing things accumulate, and a lot of people in the world, they have real single minds, like they can't really focus on multiple things, so they get sidetracked and they forget about these things. They think that World War III was just a meme from 2020. Yeah, you can see things. Basically the dominoes are hitting. Cause and reaction and effect. So all these things they're going into prophecy because like what's written in the scriptures is gonna pass. And then like in that article it said that that they're pretty much making more nukes, just how it says in the scriptures that they're pretty much making their plowshares and pruning hooks into weapons of war.
Yeah, I got that for you too. But you had a precept, Shemaiah?
Just to go into what the brother, is pretty much saying, how, pretty much it's the Lord's will that World War III happen, whether these people actually believe it or not, Romans 3:3. You know, this is Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. So pretty much, you know, the Lord said it is his determination to gather the nations. All right. And this is the reason why you have these nations, you know, going to war in the Middle East. All right. There's so much turmoil, all right, and bloodshed that's going on over there because the Lord is stirring the fire up. All right. The Lord, he wants these nations to be in a state of war. All right. He wants these nations to, you know, invest in World War III, because once the Lord, you know, has these nations fighting each other, that's when he's going to show up with the holy angels to fight them, man.
Yeah. Hey, can you start that from the top again too?
Con. Zephaniah chapter 3 and 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord.
Yeah, so we're supposed to wait for Yahweh Shai, you know. Hey,
Mhm.
we don't have an army ourselves, you know, and we could see everything going and according to prophecy, you know. Hey, the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai is putting the spirit into these heathens to what? Well, we just read the article. They're getting ready for World War III, you know. Hey, so us being, you know, men of the Lord, Lord's will, we be of that number of the elect, you know, all we have to do is preach the word, you know.
Mhm.
Because hey, the Lord is moving the puzzle pieces.
I got another a quick precept before you bring out that one. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me.
Hey, and
And what
that's what we're doing. You know, we're on our watch. Hey, that's what we're commanded to do. Be on our watch. Simply, hey, pull out these articles, be looking into alternative media, you know, everything that's going on in the world, you know, whether it be geopolitics, politics, economics, and what? And what, read it again, Baba Kashaw?
kind uh Habakkuk 2 and 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved.
You know, and we're watching, and the
Mhm.
Lord is speaking by way of these prophecies, you know.
Kind.
Hey, so when we see these things happening, what are we doing? Hey, we're warning the people, you know.
Yep.
We're warning our people that hey, we don't have too much longer. We can already see everything, you know, coming to fruition, you know.
Kind. Yeah, and the scriptures tell you, I believe it's in First Thessalonian, how, you know, Apostle Paul, he said that, you know, I have no need to write unto you, for your days, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. So the Lord has revealed his prophecies unto us,
Yeah,
all right, which is a mystery to the world,
yeah,
you know, and we know the end game of how the Lord wants his movie called Life to play out, you know, with the World War III leading to the destruction of Babylon the Great. So with us knowing the mysteries, you know, the Lord commanded us to watch, like the brother was going into, you know, watch the times, and see, you know, how and measure the time, see how close we are, you know, to the destruction and the Lord's return, man. So I'm gonna continue to read Habakkuk 2, verse 2. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it.
yep, and that's what we're doing, you know. And that's what the prophecies have been laid out. They've been broken down by our apostles and elders on down. You know, we know what's going to happen. We know, you know, Lord's will, we can get these scriptures, you know, talking about World War III, you know, the third woe, you know, the armies being gathered. You know, we understand what this is all talking about. This is talking about World War III. So when we see articles like this, you know, we see that China is preparing, you know, and about to stock up on their nuclear arms race, you know, and what, there's no coincidence that what happened during the Trump administration, that they got rid of that treaty, the U.S. and Russia, about stockpiling nukes, you know. So all these different countries are getting ready, you know. So we see these things coming, you know. We have the breakdowns, and what do we do in turn? By the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, we bring these articles and let our people know, hey, this is coming, you know.
Yeah. And we filter it through the scriptures, you know.
Yep.
So we see these events, and we're telling you that, hey, it's written in the book. So, hey, we got the precepts for it. You got that.
We had a little bit more on that.
Verse 3. So like it, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie.
Hey, so what we're seeing it now. At the end, it shall speak and not lie. So these prophecies are speaking louder than ever. It seems like every single other day there's something coming out on World War III. And what happened what was it, the beginning of last year, or was it this year? Man, time's passing by so fast. But when Iran got their general got assassinated, and it was World War III talks then. But that's all you see. And then just earlier, what was it, last month? The whole Gaza and Israel thing. Because we understand the scriptures. When the scripture talks about the least of the flock shall draw them in, we know Israel has to have a hand in drawing the U.S. into this World War III. So when we see these type of things, hey, these prophecies are speaking loud.
If I may add too, it builds up our faith too. Because we see these things, we've read about it. We've heard the breakdowns. We've came to the conclusion that every word of the scriptures are faithful and true. And then so us watching and then seeing all these prophecies come to pass, it builds up our faith.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, that's exactly right. Because what does this show? This shows that we're that much closer to the end. And we might seem crazy to the world. Hey, but when we see things talking about World War III, hey, we got smiles on our face. We're like, yeah, let's go. What are we doing? The scriptures talk about hastening the day. Like the brother said earlier, we understand, the mark of the beast has to come, but we understand World War III has to come too. These are the prophecies that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai said were going to happen and what to look for.
Yeah. Continuing on, it says, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it. Because it will surely come, it will not tarry.
Hey, yep. And it's the Lord, he does, like little jabs. The Lord is basically on gradualism, as they say in the world, Hey, but right now it seems like a jab every other day. You got World War III here, you got MOB talk here, you got the famine of the word there, every it seems every other day there's another jab. So the Lord is actually speeding up his process, and it's not going to tarry anymore.
Yeah, I believe it was China too that they blocked Facebook over there on their side of the world.
Yep. Hey, so we're getting closer to famine of the word. We're getting close to, a lot of these prophecies, coming to pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, E isn't that big bully at the block anymore because all these people pretty much see him as a weak person. His women is gathered abroad. And all the philosophies like in the Russian military, like propaganda and the American army military propaganda. If you were to compare it, you see that this guy is an easy kill, so to speak. Because all the philosophies, it stems from Amalek over there in the nation of Israel, but then it goes through all the Edomites.
Yep.
I saw this article that was pretty old, but like a transformer was speaking about how it's upset that the medicine it takes, this wicked medicine that it takes to you already know, but it's conflicted because it comes from Israel and the whole thing that's going on with Israel and Palestine. You know what I mean? It feels bad about the whole scenario, but that's what bugged me out is that's where the medicine's coming from.
Yeah,
this place has to go. The wine of confusion has spread throughout the four corners of the earth. So it's time for light to shine.
Yep. I got a precept for you. This is because you said Esau's not that big bag bully as he once was. Joel 3:9 it says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong."
Yeah, and then with Babylon the Great whore, pretty much it's in debt, and it's in debt to China also. And then in this article, they're saying that they're building more stockpiles of weapons. And then the whole thing with Israel and Palestine, we pretty much saw that the Iron Dome that's cost $1 billion, to work, it doesn't work 100% because missiles actually penetrated it. So the mighty men around the world have, pretty much got together and had the same thing in their mind that they could take on this devil Esau, Edom.
Yep. Yeah, and like the brother was saying, these nations no longer are taking this shit from America. You see America just, trying to sanction off everything because, the dollar's still the world reserve, but what are these countries doing? So you can see it, economically too, you can see these different countries pulling out of the dollar, getting rid of all their dollar assets, going and putting it in elsewhere. Like they got rid of some assets and they're putting it towards what? Gold and the UN, So, these heathen countries, these Gentile countries, they're all getting ready to come against America,
Yep.
It says, verse 11, continuing on, it says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about.
Yep. And the Yahweh Shaphat means Yahweh's decision or Yahweh's judgment. And that's the Lord's determination to gather those nations down there. Because World War III has a big part in prophecy.
Yep.
All right, the third woe. The scriptures say, "Behold, the second woe is past, but the third woe cometh quickly." Roughly paraphrasing. Because this is the war to end all wars. All right.
Yep.
After World War III, the scriptures tell you that the kingdom of heaven will be established, and that nations would no longer learn war.
They would make their weapons into plowshares.
Yep.
And we don't see that happening right now.
Nope.
Yeah. These different nations are getting ready for war. Hey, and and they have that saying in the world, no peace in the Middle East. And that's that valley of Yahweh Shaphat. That's that region, that Middle Eastern region, and that's why you always see different skirmishes going off. You always see instability, in the Middle East region, because that's where the Lord is going to pop stuff off.
Yep. So how could those so-called Jews over there in the land be the chosen people?
Yeah.
It don't make sense because, if that's the case, then the earth will be Eden again.
Yeah. The scripture talks about them learning war no more. When the true, children of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai are set up in that land. But it says, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Yeah, because the Lord's gonna gather all these heathen there, and eventually what? They're gonna kill themselves, and then Yahweh Shai is coming back in those chariots, finish them off. But it says, verse 13, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great.
Mm-hmm.
And that's,
if I could say this too, like it's gonna be world war, but then it's gonna be like a free for all, in the sight of Yahweh Shai, because when he comes down here, he's gonna bind the kings of these nations with chains of fetters of iron. But Esau, he's that main guy, because all the other heathens, they're gonna survive the calamities that's gonna happen. They're not gonna go extinct. They're gonna actually have a place in Idon once it's reestablished. But he's that biggest devil, because he's the one that everyone's gonna go to war for, because he's the guy who's stealing. He's killing, he's pushing out wickedness. So in a sense, the heathen are doing the right thing for going up against them. But it's the Lord's decision to put them all there to get them all in one fell swoop.
Yep.
I got a quick precept just to
join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished.
Time. I got a quick one for you. This is Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad.
Yeah, so they're looking at E who gave them all these toys and ways of life, and they're seeing that it's not suitable for life.
Yep.
So they're looking at him a certain way.
Hmm.
They're seeing that this guy is the cause for all the sicknesses, all the profane ideologies, and just we can make a whole video about all the things that Esau doesn't do right. Well, the wicked
Hmm.
can't do right.
Yeah. All the things, especially over here in America, that they're trying to push all around the world. That's why you see McDonald's in all these other different countries. That's why you see a whole
Oh
big
man.
LGBTQ movement in all these different countries. You see democracy in a lot of these different countries. You see instability because America has sway. They
Yep.
set up puppet, puppet rulers.
Con.
But all these nations are sick of it because what does it do? It divides these countries and makes them just subject unto America.
Yep. And Esau also pushed those decentralized banks on these other nations too, man, which is a form of having a control or power over them, through debt.
Yep.
And that's another reason why these nations are trying to go outside the dollar, because at first you would have to convert your yuan or whatever currency you had, you would have to convert it to US dollar in order to purchase oil. All right. And Esau, he wanted the monopoly on oil. That's why, they're down there in everybody else's land, you
Yep.
know, being in everybody else's business. But these nations, they're heated with E. All right. Especially since at one point they wanted to follow this devil. They left off from their own traditional practices, and started going in the way of the westernized Edomite, man. And now, like the brothers are saying, these nations, they're tired of it now. That's why you see them burning flags. All right. And not only just American flag, they're burning, the Israeli flag too, man. Because they're tired of you Edomite devils, man. All right. But you got it though.
Yeah,
Con.
there's one more verse in Joel. It says
Uh,
Joel 3:14. It says multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for
mm,
the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. And hey, that shows us that the day of the Lord is near. This is proof. This is another sign that we are to look for to show that the coming of the day of the Lord is near. And what are we doing?
mm,
We're hastening that day.
Con.
We're desiring earnestly the day to come, and we can
Yep.
see everything being put into motion.
It all just fits through prophecy. I wanted to read this in Obadiah, and I want to start at verse 5. It says, "If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night," and Esau, he's the biggest thief because not only did he prop up these other heathen countries, but he was also like how the brother Shemaim was saying, he set up their banks, so he's pretty much stealing from them. He's stealing their land, he's stealing their resources, he's even stealing the minds of the people.
Yep.
And then let's not bring up what he did during the 15th century. We already know what this is the bloody city.
Yep.
So continuing on, it says, "How art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes?" And Esau, he's all about just over consumption. It's actually it's wicked that there's world hunger. Like
Yep.
if the law was to be fulfilled, there wouldn't be world hunger because there would be grazing laws. But that just goes to showing you that this is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And continuing on, verse 6, it says, "How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up?" And pretty much like I was saying earlier, everyone's seeing this guy, they're sizing him up, and they're seeing that this guy he ain't so tough. Especially when the things that made him tough, everyone has now. And then to finish off this, is verse 7 says, "All the men of that confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him." Because like one time people would come here to America, Babylon, so that they can get rich and go back home. Well, it's pretty much going to get to the point where that's not going to be able to happen. you know, and then especially after the nukes, because this place is going to be so destroyed that then Arabia won't be able to pitch tent, or none of the people would be able to make money off of the ports.
Yep.
Yeah. And then that last part, read that last part again, Babu Shaw, about the eat that bread. Because all
Says,
these different countries, that America gives aid to. It even says, read it again, Babu Shaw.
Okay, continue on from verse 7. It says, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee.
So all these different so-called allies of America are going to end up coming against America, and then the ones that have eaten the bread of America, the ones that America gives all this different, what do they call these this money to, all these different, what is it called, donations or whatever, I forgot the term for it, but basically these these lower countries, these not so rich countries, America tries to help them out, in terms of what, America wants to use them, and they want to be allied with them. But the scripture says that all these different nations, even the ones that are allied with America, are going to come against America.
Yep.
Even within America, there's people going to go against America. It's going to be Egyptian against Egyptian.
Yeah.
It's going to be world wars throughout, like how Paul Stahar says. And it's not really going to be a race war. It's going to be an all-out war, even here in the streets of America.
I got a quick precept. Since you mentioned how these nations, pretty much, did business with America, but then they're going to end up turning on America. This is Revelations 18, and I'm going to start at 15. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her, that her being America, all right, because these nations have pretty much used America to make money, like the brother was saying, all right, and the main consumers, are you Babylonians, all right. It says these merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off from the fear, or Slakia, for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing. All right, because these nations are going to witness America after the those missiles hit. All right, 200 million nuclear warheads is going to touch down upon America, and these nations are going to see America on fire. All right, they're going to see via the satellite images. All right, and they're going to stand off and be frightened. Even though the Lord put the spirit on them to shoot their missiles. Yep. Verse 16, and saying, alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet. Speaking of America, America is that great city. All right, and in fine linen and purple and scarlet, because at one point America was that place to be, the American dream. It says, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. Yep. So the Lord is causing World War III to happen. So in the span of 1 hour, those nuclear missiles are going to do what they was created to do, what they was destined to do. All right, which is to turn Babylon the Great into a desert, the whole landmass, as a memorial for how to not live in the earth.
Yeah, and when it talks about these merchants mourning, a lot of, even China, China's going to come up and destroy this place, but China gets a lot of money off of America. America's the number one, import country. They get all their things from importing. They import a lot of goods from all these different countries, and one of the main country being China. Hey, but what does it say? We just read it. China's gearing up their nukes to destroy this place. But yeah, was there any more on that?
Yeah, just a little bit. It says, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company and ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city?
Yeah. Hey, because America is going to be destroyed in 1 hour, along with everything that is that whole consumerism, you
Yep.
know.
Yep.
All
Hollywood Boulevard is gonna get burnt up. Las Vegas, you know,
everything, you know.
everything.
And that's how you see, that's how you know it's going to be the spirit put on these people, you know, by the Lord to destroy this place, you know, because
Yep.
they're going to destroy it, but then at the end they're going to be crying because of it.
Yep.
You know, but they have no choice in the matter, you know. Hey, these are the things that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai says is going to do, and he's going to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. All right, just the last verse, I believe. It says, "And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate." All right, that was it.
Yeah, and that's how long it's going to take to destroy this place. 1 hour.
Kind.
You know, so hey, there's going to be a war somehow. You know, we don't know exactly how it's going to happen, but there's going to be a war, and sooner or later, even the allies of this country is going to end up destroying it.
Kind.
Which I gotta.
I just wanted to expound on what you said too. You said we don't know how it's going to happen, but we know it's going to happen, and that's the reason why the Lord commanded us to watch.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, because we see all these articles coming out. You know, like one thing leads to another. Like who knows what's going to come happen tomorrow? It might be a false flag or an actual event that's going to take place. It's going to rouse these people up.
Well, that's the spirit, because I got this article real quick. I'll just read the title. It says China was preparing for a third world war with biological weapons, including CV, 6 years ago, according to dossier produced by the People's Liberation Army in 2015. So, hey, you know, who knows how it's going to happen? We might see another so-called pandemic, which will be biological warfare, you know? Yep. Oh, man.
Yep. And this time around, it could be the real deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a lot. There we go.
I got
you got some?
This is Jeremiah 49, verse 15. I'll start at verse 14. It says, I have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, Gather ye together and come against her and rise up to the battle. You know, it's just another precept going into World War III. You know, we read it in Joel. You know, we read it in Obadiah. We read it in Revelation, and this is in Jeremiah. So it's all throughout the scriptures about this great war. And then verse 15, it says, For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men. And so like you can just see, you know, even if you're not in this truth, that everyone's anger towards the so-called white man. You know, they see him as he's the worst thing going right now, which he is.
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah.
So that's that. Esau, he's going to cause everybody to go to war after him. You know, because he's blaming China for, you know, a pandemic that he created.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, this man is the devil. You know, this man. We've been reading about it. You know, this man just pushes his wickedness all throughout the four corners of the earth. So hey, these people are getting mad. You know. Well, what does it say? When the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. You know, and the people are tired of that. You know, they're ready to do things their own way. Hey, but that's why the scriptures say, why do the heathen imagine a vain thing? Because hey, really, you know, the true men, the true kingdom, the true king is going to come back and establish righteousness, and it's going to be the right way for eternity. You know.
Yep.
But I got a quick one, real quick. Jeremiah 50 and 14. It says, "Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow, shoot at her." Spare no arrows, for she has sinned against the Lord. So, you know, so the Lord is going to put the spirit on all these different nations who have nuclear capabilities to what? To shoot at America, you know? It says, shout against her round about. She hath given her hand. Her foundations are fallen. Her walls are thrown down, for it is the vengeance of the Lord. Take vengeance upon her as she hath done, do unto her. And that's what's going to happen. And the Lord is going to judge this place, you know? The Lord is going to utterly destroy this place. And we read it in 1 hour, you know, and we quoted it, you know, I don't know if we brought it out, but, you know, this place is going to be destroyed with 200 million missiles, you know, and that's the reason why China's stockpiling, They just said they're building more nukes. There's a reason why Russia's stockpiling. Hey, because these things are going to happen. The Lord is putting the spirit on these heathen nations to fulfill prophecy, you know. And one of the prophecies is to go to war and ultimately to destroy this place.
Yep. And then Israel's going to sneak into power. It's going to slide right in there, you know.
Yeah.
The chariot's going to show up, you know. The next rulers of the world to come is going to, you know, escape the judgment, you know, in high class and style, you know, because hey, Esau, he likes to make luxury vehicles, all right, but the highest luxury vehicle are the chariots, man. You know, and the elect are going to have a first class ticket on a chariot, man. I got one scripture, you know, this is Daniel chapter 7, verse 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, so that's what we were talking about earlier. Well, that's why we read, you know, wait ye upon me. You know, the Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is coming. You know, he's coming to ultimately, you know, the cherry on top to destroy what's left, you know, of these heathens in control. You know, scripture says he's gonna have, you know, crowns in his hand, you know. Hey, but then what's gonna happen? Hey, the true kingdom is going to be established. The righteous kingdom, the kingdom of Israel, is going to be established forever, you know, starting with the Yahushua and the elect.
Con. I was going to get a scripture, but I don't think I could find it. Pretty much going into, you know, he that, you know, overcomes shall, you know, rule the nations with the rod of iron, you know, because these nations are fighting each other in World War III to try to win, but then ultimately they're going to lose to Yahweh Shai and the holy angels. All right. And Yahweh Shai is going to redeem his elect, which is going to be the first governing body of the next world to come. And the scriptures say the saints shall take the kingdom. So, all right, it's going to be pretty much a Jakeover, man. All right. And there's going to be no more wars after this. The Lord is just going to shut everything down, man. You know, because these nations don't know how to rule anyway.
Yeah. I got one more. If Jake don't have nothing, this is Luke 21:31. So likewise ye, when you see these things come to pass, know ye that the kingdom of the Most High is nigh at hand. Hey, so we see these prophecies coming to pass. You know, we see World War III. We see these heathen nations gearing up. You know, they're beating their plowshares and the pruning hooks. You know, they're furnishing the sword. You know, we see, you know, economically, you know, all these different countries pulling away from the dollar. You know, we see the economic crash. We see that looming. You know, everything's going into hyperinflation. You know, all these different countries, you know, around the world, they're all going to be affected for the you know, the shit that the elites do. So you think they're not going to be mad? You know, hey, there has to be a scapegoat, and America's going to be that scapegoat. You know.
Yep.
And what does it say? It says, so likewise, ye, when you see these things come to pass, which we're seeing, you know, we see these prophecies speaking louder than ever. It says, know ye that the kingdom of the Most High is nigh at hand. So this kingdom, the one, you know, that's all talked about in the scriptures, that the apostles, the disciples, the men of old, you know, the men of the Lord of old, you know, the old prophets, they desired to see. We're living in those times, you know. We're living in the times where, hey, the kingdom is about to be established. It will happen in our lifetime, you know. This is what we've been waiting for. If you truly believe in the scriptures and you understand prophecy, this is what we've been waiting for, you know.
Kind of well said. And I mean, with that, man, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. You know, double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the Akim who are tuning to these videos. Continue to stay on your watch, because you can see, you know, what the brother Yotab was saying, man. We're in those times. Like, on a side note, you know, just a quick side note, there were cyber attacks happening in America. You know, it just goes to show you, man, what next?
Yep.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, it's beautiful, you know. And this is pumping us up. This is boosting our faith. You know, and Lord's will we endure. You know. Hey, but Shalom.